We got the Chicago Bears versus the Tennessee Titans. Chicago Bears had a much better loss than the Titans did. Let me just get you with. I'll do the fantasy projections. I have a little comment, and we'll pass it
A
over to you,
much
David.
better loss. I don't know if I've ever heard
A
that term.
better loss. I'd rather see a team lose late against the New Orleans Saints than the Tennessee Titans lay that egg versus Cincinnati. But it was predictable. I was worried about this game, if you remember from last week, the Tennessee Titans versus the Cincinnati Bengals. But let me hit you with the projections here. Foles, because of the Titans defense, isn't really playing that great. I actually have Foles as a startable player. I wouldn't start him in one quarterback leagues. Superflex, I'd play him, and maybe some daily fantasy. I don't like the running game there. Chicago, the offensive line is bad, and I'm not a big believer in David Montgomery anyway. Let's see. Receivers, I think you could start Allen Robinson. I'd probably stay away from everybody else, including tight ends. Though if you really want to get cute with your fantasy team, maybe you can start Jimmy Graham, but I'm going to stay away from it this week. Tennessee, I don't love the matchup for Ryan Tannehill this week. I love the Chicago Bears defense. They're holding everybody low. I don't like it for Tannehill, but I do think Derrick Henry will play pretty well. A.J. Brown is a play. Although you and I both like Corey Davis, spoiler alert for the waiver play, I don't have him as a startable player this week. Jonnu Smith, though, I do have as a start. Let me say this about the games real quick. Tennessee, that had trap game written all over it. I thought maybe because they had that late loss against Pittsburgh, they come out. But Tennessee is not playing good football in the first half. That's pretty consistent. They come out and they're just kind of cold for 30 minutes. And then in the second half, they might be like the best second half team in football. But the Cincinnati Bengals are dangerous because they score points, you know. They're dangerous, especially against the spread. They're dangerous. Chicago, this offense is putrid, but their defense keeps them in games. So it's interesting. Anyway, take it away, David.
You talked. I think you said Jimmy Graham. If he's still on your roster, release him.
Yeah.
He's not worth a spot anymore, especially with Cole Kmet starting to eat into it. Darnell Mooney, though, he's worth the roster spot at this point. He's taken over as the number 2, at least snap count wise. He was outproduced by Miller, but he had 5 for 69 and a touchdown of his own. And anybody who's on Twitter enough has seen all of the clips of his deep shots where he's been wide open and just had Nick Foles miss him by about 30 yards.
Michael Gallup did that in his rookie season before he kind of like ascended with his second year last year. So, I mean, that matters if you're behind the defense. At some point, they'll hit you.
He's getting open. He's a good route runner. He's a good player, and he's equipped with some jets. He's in the 4.3s for the 40. So I think Darnell Mooney, there's not really much else to mention. If you got Montgomery, I'm sorry you didn't take Antonio Gibson instead.
Yeah.
At that ADP where you should have. On the other side, the Titans, you're right, it's a tough matchup. If you have better matchup-based plays than Tannehill, you use it. A.J. Brown, you start him no matter what. Derrick Henry, you start him no matter what. It's going to be a big litmus test for me for Corey Davis here because I'm going more all in on Corey Davis by the day. Mm-hmm. And talk about it a little bit, just getting ahead of the waiver wire, just to go on a little bit of a tangent. I posted a poll this morning asking, who would you rather have in Dynasty, Corey Davis at 25 or Odell Beckham, who's 27? It was 52 to 47 Odell Beckham. So it's close. And then I posted one more, Corey Davis in a 2021-2 or OBJ in a 2021-3. 63% want Corey Davis in the 2021-2. So if you just ask people Corey Davis or Odell Beckham, you think nobody's going to want Corey Davis over Odell Beckham. But the fact of the matter is, maybe it's just my followers, a good amount of people do want Corey Davis over Odell Beckham straight up right now. And even if they don't want him straight up, there's a good chance you can get rid of OBJ now, get a guy like Corey Davis and a second-round pick in what could be a loaded draft class next year. Corey Davis has double-digit fantasy points and 5+ targets in all 5 of his games. Last week, there was 5 wide receivers who had done that on the year. After Robbie Anderson failed to hit double-digit points, and I believe one more player, I forget who it was, that list is down to 3. Oh, Kenny Golladay, who got hurt.
Oh, right.
There's 3 guys. There's 3 players, 3 wide receivers who have 5+ targets and double-digit fantasy points in every single game this year. Stephon Diggs, Jamison Crowder, Corey Davis.
Yep.
That's it. So let's see what he does against the Bears. If he can have even like an 8-point game, go get that guy.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything, and anything you said. I wanted to get him. I had a scenario in my league where I had to make a decision between starting the Baltimore Ravens defense or starting the Philadelphia Eagles defense versus the Cowboys, and I needed because of massive injuries. I needed it, so I had to leave Davis on the waivers. I'm not going to be able to get him this week, so I missed out on it. I got the win because of that move, thanks to that late touchdown for the Eagles. But you got to pick him up if he's out there. There's some other guys. I actually love the waiver wire this week, and running backs here are some really good ones too. We mentioned a couple already. Can't wait to get there. Let me hit you with the line here, David. Bavada has Chicago +6 versus Tennessee. Who do you got?
That's tough. It's tough. You like Chicago's defense,
Yeah.
but 6. I want to take Tennessee here in a get right game and hope they win by 7.
Yeah, this was last week. I think the line was Tennessee -5. Now it's Tennessee -6. Everybody just hates Chicago, and there you go. Chicago just keeps being. They almost beat the Saints yesterday. Now the Saints didn't have a wide receiver on their roster. I think they were playing guys off the high school squad in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. You're picking guys up, but they still, man, they almost pulled that game off. Interesting, but I'll take Chicago because they play people tough, and because Tennessee just starts flat in the first half. Like, I think out of all their games, there's only been one where they started pretty good. I think it was against maybe Houston or Minnesota or something like that. I don't know, man. Chicago just plays everybody so darn close, and Tennessee's defense, I thought they were going to be better. They showed signs against Pittsburgh in the second half, but they just didn't come out and do it against Cincinnati. So I'm disappointed. I still like Tennessee long term. They got some holes to fix, and Chicago's underrated. I'll take Chicago. Don't love it, but I'll take Chicago. Next game.